Hello, welcome back for part 2 of how God told me to move to Texas, and welcome to my channel, Simply God's Daughter, where it says you can relax, take the pressure off because you're simply God's daughter. So let's get back into part 2. So like I was saying, in January of this year is when I started feeling the unction from God that he wanted me to go to Texas, wanted me to move to Texas. So I like I said last time, I prayed, and by that time I think I had incorporated fasting, and I pretty much gave it to God. So I got my notes here, and I have everything, my confirmations and everything. So after I prayed about me moving to Texas and feeling the unction, because this is where it gets deep, child, which was in January, I wrote in my journal on February 3rd of this year, and I wrote, well, let me backtrack. I had asked God for a sign. And the specific sign I had asked him for was a license plate. Because I lived in Iowa at the time, we didn't have a lot of out-of-towners. We only had Iowans. So the only license plates we would see around town would be Iowa license plates. It was very rare if we seen anybody from, New York, Florida, Texas, Georgia. It wasn't normal. So I knew that if I asked God for this, he would most definitely deliver on this. It has to be him. So I prayed and I asked God to send me a license plate as a sign. And so in my journal on February 3rd, one day after I got off of work, I was going to go babysit. And as I was leaving my house to go babysit, I was kind of in a rush because I was going to be late. And as I was on my way there, lo and behold, in front of me, and I write it down, but I said, after praying for a sign on whether or not Texas or Charlotte is the right place for me, on Thursday, February 1st, 2024, I was driving, and right in front of me was a Texas license plate, the exact sign I had prayed for. I was left in shock. God is so good. I can't even believe I'm going to Texas. So after that, I had got on the phone with my friends, and I was in shock. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of second guessing because I was just like, I don't know. But looking back, I'm like, girl, that was God. And even still then, I believed it was God, but I think I'm just so in shock about it. And so I called my girls, and one of my friends, Miracle, if you're watching this, hey girl, but she was like, that's a sign from God. Like, I think, come on, that's a sign from God that you going to Texas. So I'm like, wow, okay, so this is when it starts to get deep, because I'm like, I'm going to Texas. God, it's this year. We already in the month of February of this year. So now I need to know what the heck is going on. I need to know, when am I moving? How am I getting there? What's going on? So it comes to my second confirmation. I began praying and fasting for real. Like, I was not messing around. So now comes time for the second confirmation, because like I said, once I had got like that first real confirmation about me moving to Texas and God showing me that license plate, I had began really praying and fasting for real, because I needed to know what was going on. And not only did I see one license plate, but y'all, I seen multiple. I'll include them in here when I can, but I had seen multiple license plates. And not only that, but I seen U-Hauls everywhere. I seen U-Hauls everywhere on my social media. It was just, everybody was moving, packing up, going. It was like I couldn't escape moving. And so from February up until May, I was praying and fasting, continuously seeking God on this manner. And so on May 4th, May 2nd, my second confirmation was and I wrote it down. On May 2nd, the Lord confirmed to me that I will be moving to Dallas, Texas. He confirmed it through another YouTuber, KeyKatrell's video, and this woman on TikTok. God is good. Now I'm writing out a list for the apartment I want. I will not settle because my Father wants the best for me. And so how he confirmed it through the KeyKatrell, who was another YouTuber on here, in her video, I had got off of work one day and I kept hearing in my mind, go watch her video. And her video was how she moved to Houston, Texas, how God moved her to Houston, Texas. And I was like, no, because this will be like my third time watching this video. Like, this will be my third time. I don't need to watch it anymore. But I kept hearing, go watch her video. I said, this must be God. So I was annoyed. I put the video on. I went in my kitchen and I started cooking dinner. And I went to go put the video on. And in the video, she's talking and she kept slipping up saying Dallas instead of Houston. And as she was slipping up saying Dallas, she has said, you know what? I don't know why I keep saying Dallas, but this is confirmation to somebody. If you're watching this, God is telling you to move to Dallas. Like, this will be your confirmation. You're going to Dallas, Texas. And I was like, mouth fell. I fell because one thing is, I knew I was going to Texas, but I didn't know what part. Because at first I thought I was going to Houston, because that's all that I kept seeing. But I'm like, I'm not too keen on Houston, child. No shade to Houston, but I wasn't too keen on Houston. I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't want to go there. But if God wanted me to go there, I was going to go there. So I was asking God, is it Dallas or Houston? And in that video, that she was like, this your confirmation, you going to Dallas. And so I was shook. Not only that, but on TikTok, there was this lady, and she popped up on my TikTok on a random day, and she had said, I'm getting in my spirit, that somebody is moving soon, and you know, you've been wanting to do it for a while, but now is your time, now is your season. And to sum it up, she was just basically saying, I'm getting 2 locations, Dallas and somewhere, I think she said Austin. I'm not sure, but I think she said Austin. And she was like, I'm getting 2 locations, Dallas and Austin. And that jumped out to me because I'm like, okay, that's another sign from God. That I'm going to Dallas. So y'all, I was just shook all across the board because, like I said, I got the unction in January of this year. February of this year, he confirmed it was Texas. May of this year, he said it's Dallas, Texas. So I'm all around like, Jesus, you are moving quick. So let me get to the apartment part. So I'm like, Lord, I need somewhere to stay. And like I said, the apartment that I was living in Iowa, I was thankful to God that I had a roof over my head, but I was not a fan of it. There was mold, there was roaches here and there from like the neighbors that lived over by me. It was outdated. It was, I was not a fan of it. But one thing I love with that cheap rent, child, I was paying $740 for a 2-bedroom. If only times could be like that now. So, but I wrote down a list of what I wanted. So here I wrote, no mold anywhere, lots of windows, natural light, a balcony, a yard, or a play area for a dog, no shower door at all, a ceiling fan in the living room and the bedroom, washer and dryer in the unit, no bathroom in my bedroom. I'm not gonna break that down, child, because if y'all know, then y'all know. But a kitchen island, no outdated appliances, on-site parking or like a garage, somewhat affordable, kind management, safe location, a dishwasher, only paying 2 utilities if I have to, kind neighbors, open floor plan, and no roaches, child, no roaches. So I wrote that down, and when I say y'all, I was not playing with God. I was not playing with God. I was not playing, like, I wasn't playing with the enemy. I wasn't playing with myself. I was like, I'm getting this. He's doing confirmations. I mean, back to back. I mean, back to back. It was so quick. So after that, after I write down my apartment list, like I said, I wasn't playing with God. And so now that I know that I'm moving to Dallas, Texas, I'm like, okay, Lord, it's May. You said I'm moving this year. It's May. So when am I going? So I began seeking him on what month I was moving in. So as I began seeking him and fasting, I had joined this group called Righteous Wives, and she's on YouTube as well. Her name is Shakara. Shakara? I believe it's Shakara. Yeah, I believe it's Shakara. But Righteous Wives, she's on YouTube as well. And I had joined her group because it prepares you for, marriage and just being a bride to Christ and to your physical man as well. And so we, as a group, we fast together, pray together, talk together, all the whole shebang. And so one night, I had a bad dream. It was demonic, child. It was a demonic dream. And it was around like 4 something in the morning. And I woke up out of the blue and I had to pray and rebuke that dream, and I had to pray against it. And after I got done rebuking and praying against it, I tried to go back to sleep, but I really couldn't. So I was on YouTube searching for a YouTube video just to put on, just something to watch, so I could fall asleep to or whatever. And as I was searching, like looking on YouTube, scrolling through, there was one of her videos that came up, and it said, God is moving you in the next 3 months. I was like, what? And when I seen that video, I was fasting. So I said, what? So I put the video on, and everything that she has said corresponded with me. I mean, down to scripture, down to what was going on in my life. It was insane. It was insane. So I wrote in my journal, and I said, I go to YouTube, and as I'm looking for a video, I see this other one pop up that says you're moving in the next 3 months. And everything that she spoke correlated with me. The number 3, God told me to fast for 3 days. The story in 2 Kings with the 3 kings, which I was reading 2 Kings at that time. The YouTube video the night before of the girl stating that the Lord was moving her in the next 3 months. And the video that I seen this morning was the Lord moved her to Dallas, Texas, and it blew my mind. Because there was another young lady on YouTube, and I cannot remember her or her channel for the life of me, but she was talking about how God said he was moving her the next 3 months, and she was going to Dallas, Texas. And I was like, that's crazy. But it all made sense. God needed for me to see that. So I got confirmation that God was moving me in the next 3 months. And I was shook. And I wrote this. I got the next 3 months confirmation on May 8th. Like I said, May 4th or May 2nd is when God told me I was moving to Dallas. May 8th is when he said the next 3 months. So I was all out. I was blown away. So I get my confirmations. And from May up until June, I am still praying and fasting. Now I was looking at apartments, but I did not like any of the apartments that I had saw. I did not like any of the apartments in Dallas. Either they were too expensive, or they just did not. It wasn't like oh my God, it's this. So I had prayed and I asked God, Lord, I need you to highlight an apartment to me that you want me to stay in, that you want me to live at, somewhere prepare a place for me. Prepare a place for me down here. Now, like I said, I had got a little discouraged, and I had stopped. I was looking, but then I had stopped looking because all of them was ugly. I'm just gonna tell the truth. All of them was ugly. And so May up until June, well, I would say May up until April, I was looking, but then I had stopped, and I was talking to my good sis Miracle, and my friend, and she said something like, you need to start looking for apartments. Like, start looking for apartments. Get back on there and start looking for apartments. And I was like, dang, God, that must be you, because I did put a pause on this. So I got on there, and I was looking for apartments. I was looking, and I seen the apartment. I ran across this apartment, and it was beautiful. Soon as I seen it, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was something about it that just caught me. It was something about it that just caught me. So I looked at it for a couple of days. I looked at it, and I believe this was in July. I looked at it, and I just said, I'm not going to apply, because I was scared. I was scared to apply. And so I looked at it, and I let it sit. And I asked God, and I believe that He told me to apply. Now let me take a break, because in June, I'm sorry, and that didn't happen in July. That was back in April. No, not April. That was in, this was in May. This was in May. So, excuse me. I'm getting my dates all mixed up. May is when May 2nd is when God told me, you're moving to Dallas. May 8th is when I got my confirmation that I'm moving in the next 3 months. And then June is when my friend told me, the beginning of June, told me to start applying for apartments, because I had got a little discouraged because I didn't see any of the ones that I liked. But I came across this apartment that I absolutely loved, but I didn't apply for it yet because I was a little scared. So June 22nd, now we're fast forwarding to June 22nd, I had got a prophetic word that God was taking me from behind the scenes to forward in the scenes, that He is bringing me out, that I can no longer pretty much hide and shut my voice down and keep my voice quiet. And if anybody knows me, I don't like attention on me. I like to be in the back burner. He also told me that my overthinking has to stop, and that I need to make a decision. He also told me to rest in Him, and to be still, because I was so anxious about everything. I was so anxious about my move. I was so anxious about how all this was going to work out. So I applied for the apartment that I loved. Before I applied, I talked to the leasing agent lady, and she was so sweet. And I didn't know, I asked a bunch of questions like rent, utility, everything. But the thing was, on the website, the only apartments that were available was for May and June. I think it was just May, June, and July. And they were so, like, the price was so expensive. I didn't understand what was going on. And I didn't like the cabinets. They had wood cabinets, they had white cabinets. I said, I don't want neither one of them. And I know they had gray cabinets, and I loved like the idea of the gray cabinets. So I'm asking her these questions, and I'm looking on the website, and I'm like, Lord, you said you're moving me in the next 3 months. Now it's still May, and so the next 3 months will be August. So I'm like, I don't see no apartment on here for no August. Is this my apartment or not? But I sat on it, but I kept looking. And lo and behold, on there was an apartment that was open for moving August 30th. And I was like, let me look at this. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, everything that I wanted. Gray cabinets and all. I mean, everything on that list it had. And so I contacted the leasing agent and I was like, can I get a virtual tour or whatever? She was like, no, we don't do virtual tours, but I can take pictures. I'm like, okay, that's fine. She takes pictures, she sends them to me. It's not my exact unit, but I loved it. I loved the picture she sent. And so I'm like, okay, God, I think I'm gonna apply for this. So I applied, and now at the time, I didn't know how I was gonna get, I did have to pay an application fee, but at the time, I truly didn't know how I was gonna even move here because my finances was wonky. I was working in a child care center, only making $15.50 an hour, and I had rent to pay, I had utilities, I had car insurance, phone bill, all of that. So I'm like, God, how am I supposed to do all of this? One thing I will say, y'all, do not be stupid with your money. If God is telling you that you're moving and you're moving soon, please save as much as you can. Even though I believe that God was telling me I was moving, I was being stupid and I did not have wisdom with my finances or discipline. I was still spending money, acting like I wasn't going nowhere no time soon. So if God is telling you that you're about to relocate, please save all the money that you can. Be wise with your finances, because I was not. And so I looked at this apartment. I said, August 31st. Okay, God, I'm gonna apply. I applied. When I applied, I waited, I prayed, I fasted. Around this time, I was also praying and asking God to bless me with a job, because I needed income. Like, I need income, I need a job. And so I applied, I waited, and I think about a week or took maybe a couple of days, the leasing agent, she emailed me and she was like, do you have pay stubs? And I was like, yeah. Now, I was scared because I'm like, dang, they're gonna deny me. Like, they're gonna deny me. I don't make 3 times the rent. I don't even got a job in Texas. And a lot of these apartment complexes, they want you to make 3 times the rent, and they also require you to have like a job lined up already, So I was like, oh, I'm shot. Like, I'm not, they finna deny me. And so this is still in June, and I applied, I put it in, I gave her my pay stubs, and I just left it to God. Y'all, I kid you not, June 26th of this year, I wrote in my journal, because it happened, God approved me for my apartment. I'm moving to Dallas, Texas. Thank you, Jesus. I have no words. He approved me for the exact apartment that I wanted. It had everything in it that I loved. My mind was blown. I fell down thanking God. I was crying. I couldn't believe it. So, I said, God, I'm moving in August. You said the next 3 months. You wasn't playing. I'm moving. So it is now June. And I don't have a job lined up or anything, but I have a place to stay. I have a roof over my head. And so I didn't know how I was going to pay the security deposit, but God, lo and behold, God is so good. I was putting my 2-week notice in, not right at the moment, but I was going to put my 2-week notice in, and I was calculating how many checks I would get before, how many checks I would get up until me moving. I was going to get 4 checks. I was only going to get 4 more checks. And I was like, God, how am I going to pay the security deposit? Because the security deposit was like, it was a lot. The security deposit was a lot. And so I was like, God, how am I going to pay the security deposit? And the Lord told me, take this much out of your checks, out of the last 4 checks, take this much out so you can save up for your security deposit. Y'all, I didn't understand it because I'm like, God, I still got other bills to pay. This is not going to work. But when I say God never fails you, he never fails you, and he supplies, I had enough money to save up for my security deposit. That way I could have it turned in before my moving date. The day before, I could have it turned in. So God lined it up perfectly. Not only that, but I still had enough money to pay my bills at my apartment that I was living in Iowa. I was blown away. God was so good. God is so good. So I had that portion figured out. And like I said, I'm still praying for a job. I'm still, looking at places, all types of stuff. So let me fast forward a little bit. So now it is July, and I finally tell my family, hey, y'all, I'm moving to Dallas, Texas in August. And yeah, I won't spend too much time talking about that just because that's a lot, but pretty much some of the family was not happy. Mom and dad was not happy. Grandparents was like, what is going on? It was a lot going on in that. They weren't supportive at first, because imagine your child packing up their whole life, never even been to Texas, don't know anybody, don't have any family, and they up and move. You're gonna be a little like, what the heck is going on too? Not only that, don't have no finances. So that was hard within itself. I do believe that I told people prematurely. I don't believe that God had released me to really talk about it, and I did it anyway, I guess out of my excitement. And so always be mindful of when God is instructing you to do something. Keep your mouth closed if he did not release you. If he did not release you to say anything, be quiet about it. But so that was a lot on family. It took a toll on me for a while, because that's when fear and doubt had started to set in, because I was like, God, is this really you? Like, maybe I'm making this up, but no, it was God. And so I had told my family in July that I was moving to Texas the next month. And yeah, so I had now began to pack up my life. I started selling furniture. I started scraping up every dollar that I could. Every dollar that I could, I started scraping up. I mean, I was selling all types of stuff. And I even, gave stuff away for free too, just to help someone. But I started selling all types of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I was babysitting. I did my sister's hair. It's like, I was scraping up money, because I'm like, I'm finna move. I gotta have the finances. So I sell everything, and around this time I'm just so stressed. I'm so stressed out, because I can't believe that God is moving this quick and this is actually my life. And so now comes the month of August. I give my 2-week notice, or my month notice, because I gave my job a month notice. I gave my job a month notice, and now my family is like on board. They're like, okay, we're gonna help you move. Like, we're gonna help you get to where you need to be. We not much of a fan, but we gonna help you. So and I'm just fast forwarding here because it's so much. I get the money that I need. I only had about $756 saved up, and then I think I had like maybe $1,200 or $1,300 in my bank account, and that's the money that I had to move. I packed everything. I took only clothes and kitchen supplies, like kitchen utensils and stuff like that. I boxed everything up. I sold furniture. I sold my bed. I pretty much got rid of everything, and I packed only the stuff that I could fit in boxes. And around this time, there was a lot of spiritual warfare, like, you know, people really not believing that I could do it. Me not believing that I can do it. My car was getting messed up. I had to take my car to the shop. The people didn't know if I would be able to drive it that far, because Iowa to Dallas is a 14-hour drive. The people didn't know if I would be able to drive it that far. And so that was a lot as well. And then on top of me just couldn't believe that I was picking my life up and actually doing this. But I ended up getting my car fixed. My dad paid for it. I didn't have to pay for anything. My dad paid for it. Thank God. My God used my parents in a crazy way. My father paid for it. You know, and I packed my stuff up. I put it all in my 2008 Chevy Impala. Fit what I could. I said bye to my sister, bye to my little nephew. He's a dog child. I said bye to him. I said bye to the people at my job, friends. Well, not really friends, but like, you know, co-workers. And I fit what I could in my Chevy Impala, and the rest was in my dad's truck. And we hit the road. We hit the road. And when I say God is good, because anything could have happened to us on that highway, but nothing did. Y'all don't understand. I had never driven that long in my life. The most I've driven was 3 hours, and that was to a concert. I've never driven 14 hours by myself because I was trailing behind my dad. And so when I say God is and was good, because anything could have happened to me, my family, we were stopping in all these small towns trying to get gas. Anything could have happened. I mean, I could cry thinking about it right now, because this testimony is such a blessing. It is such a blessing, and it proves God to be faithful. And even, you know, the night before we left, I took my anointing oil. I anointed both of the cars. I prayed heaven down here on earth. And before I had moved, God told me, just like the wind blows, I will take care of you. Now, y'all, if y'all catch that. Sit down and think about it. Catch it. And so we hit the road. We stopped in Oklahoma to sleep for a night, and the next day we got up and hit the road back to Dallas, Texas. We finally got here on August 30th. And y'all, I had never been to Texas, never been here. I don't even know anybody. I don't have no family. But when I say that God is so good, He's so good. He's so good. When I got here, I was blown away. I was crying, and I'll insert, like, because I took videos of it, but I probably look a mess. I don't know, but we made it to Texas. God is so good, but I can't believe that I'm in Texas. I started crying because I was just like, wow, God is so good. When I say I got to the apartment, and when I walked in, I had never seen this apartment. I've never seen what it would look like. I was blown away. It was everything that I had prayed for. It was everything that I had prayed for. I was blown away. It's just a blessing to know that God loves you this much, and He cares for you, and He really does hear you when you are praying. He hears you and He sees you. My dad, he even told me, he was like, I'm so proud of you. I can't even believe you just did this. I'm so proud of you. And I'm just like, all glory goes to God. All glory goes to God. So I've been here for 2 months now. It's been a journey, to say the least. It's been a journey. I've had some highs, I've had some lows, I've had some ups, I've had some downs, but all in all, God has been good. I didn't have a job for 2 months. When I got here, I had no job. I was only solely running on the income that I had in my bank account. God has taken care of me the whole way. I just got a job. God just blessed me with a job the other day. God just blessed me with a job the other day. But those 2 months that I didn't have a job, God took care of me the whole way. I didn't lack anything. I did have to get on food stamps because money was low, but that's a blessing within itself, because how many people do you know that are trying to apply for food stamps and they don't get approved, and they got kids and everything? Kids, job ain't paying enough, but here I was, just moved here. Had no job, was staying in this expensive apartment, just new here, and they approved me the next day after I applied. God put people in my path to bless me. One of my friends that I recently met here in Texas, she blessed me. She bought me groceries, like she bought me toothpaste, mouthwash. She was being obedient to God. This one girl gave me $100 to pay my bill. It's like God will put people in your path to bless you. But you have to keep your faith. You have to believe. You have to surrender. You have to trust in Him. And so God just blessed me with a job. And He's still keeping me even now. Even now, He's still keeping me. Even now, when it was time for my rent to get paid, I didn't know how. I got money to pay it. I mean, God has been faithful this whole time. Like I said, it hasn't been easy. It has not been easy at all. But even through the chaos and even through the struggle and the trial, God is still so good, and He's faithful to perform. He loves His children. He loves His daughters. Okay. And I have to remind myself a lot of the times that I am simply God's daughter. And so, He takes care of His children. He don't want none of His babies to lack anything. And so I'm so blessed just to be in this space. I know that God has so much more for me in store. I'm so blessed to be here and just to even be telling this testimony and to be on the other side of this, because I didn't think I would ever get out of my hometown. And so just to know that at 22 years old, I'm here, and not by my own strength and might, but only by the grace of God. And so I pray that this testimony blessed you. I pray that it blesses you. I pray that you get what you need, that God delivers, that He gives you confirmation, and that you are just simply blessed. And I want you to know that God does love you. He does care for you. You are His baby. You are His child. And He wants nothing but the best for you. Times may be hard because we are not without suffering. Even Jesus had to suffer. But in the suffering, look to God. Don't take your eyes off of Him. Seek the kingdom. Matthew 6:33 says, seek the kingdom above all else. Live righteously. And God will be with you. He will bless you. And so I thank you so much for watching. I pray that this be a blessing to you. God bless you. I pray that He keeps you, and that the Lord continues to provide your every need. Just remember, when you open your mouth and ask, that's all you have to do. Open your mouth, have a mustard seed of faith, and God will deliver. And so thank you so much for watching. I love you. I'll see you soon. Don't forget to share this, subscribe, like, comment, do all of the things. And remember, you are simply God's daughter. The Lord loves you, and everything is going to be okay. All right. God bless you. Have a good one.